Muchas gracias, shukran, origato, merci, dankeschön for making our family here at the Clairvoyant Communications Network, or CCN as you so fondly refer to us, part of your New Year's celebrations and ruminations. Thank you for helping us say adieu to the tyrannical year that has been 2020. More like good riddance. 2020, we're giving you the boot. You sucked, you bit, you bad, bad year. You, along with 1929 and 1941, will forever live in infamy. We'd give you 0 stars if we could. The only reason you got 1 star is adult onesies and working from home. Maybe Tiger King? That's debatable. 2020, you disgust and repulse us. You are pathetic AF. You've been a toxic space-time environment. Before we count all the ways that 2021 is going to be outrageously better and blow 2020 out of the water, and that's not really challenging. It's child's play, really, since the bar has been set as low as it can go. Let's refresh how rubbish 2020 really was. Actually, let's not. Let's just let it go and move the fuck on. So, 2021. Here you are. Dear viewers, there's boatloads to be hopeful and excited and stoked about in 2021. So, tell all those neckheads who keep trying to kill your optimistic vibes with so-called grounding reminders that things don't just poof magically change once you need to get a new calendar because the old one's expired. Tell them they're just plain wrong. By the way, does anyone actually buy calendars anymore? Something magical is going to happen when we have to start remembering to change the 0 to a 1 when signing and dating our unemployment checks and when checking the expiration dates on our coupons. So brace yourself for that next level of magic that is going to be unleashed with the flip of those digits. According to astrologers, 0 is a very unlucky number, a bad omen of a number, symbolizing in very esoteric systems the absence of anything, nothingness, a big goose egg of suck. 1, on the other hand, is a very powerful number, the number of champions, of gold medal winners and egoists. If you don't believe me, just think about whether you'd rather have 1 Xbox Series X or none at all. Would you rather have 1 sex partner or none at all? $1 or $0? Would you rather stay at home and do nothing or meet your friends at Starbucks and slurp lattes while doing nothing? Exactly. 9 out of 10 rationally minded people prefer something to nothing. And for that reason alone, 2021 is going to be truly, truly outrageous, as I mentioned. for everything that didn't happen in 2020, there will be at least one thing that does happen in 2021. And that's a lot of things. I can tell you're getting amped up already for one thrill ride of a year. Let's start with what is on everyone's mind these days. The quarantine 15. I know, you're sitting there asking, how the hell did you just read my mind? Well, honey, I don't claim to be a psychic just to make easy money. I really am psychic. Duh. Thanks to the quarantine 15, we have all been united globally in a common fight, in a common cause, dropping a few pounds. The resolution that was once only a vast majority of people's New Year's resolution, as part of the new year, new me type thing, has now reached universal, unanimous priority status for everyone. So, for those of you resolved to shed that grief bacon, which is pretty much all of you, am I right? This is going to be your year. Don't worry, this is not a subtle segue into a pitch for whatever nutritional supplements JP Sears or Vita Life are peddling these days. Relax, stay calm, just let me explain. According to the UN, we are going to see catastrophic global famine and massive food insecurity due to the COVID-19 pandemic and its ripple effects. I know. Wait. Before you go to the dark side with this one, and you have been doing that a lot this year, despite all of your law of attraction, positive affirmations, let's see this for what it really is. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If there's anything that 2020 brutally exposed, it's income, class, gender, and racial inequalities, right? We all got pissed off hearing Ellen bitch about being locked down in her palatial prison, watching Madonna take a bubble bath while claiming to be in the same boat of all of us plebs, Karen calling the cops on a bird watcher, and witnessing a black man getting suffocated to death by a white police officer because he couldn't afford a pack of cigarettes during an economic downturn. At least we hope you were infuriated by all of those events. Because if you weren't, you really need to have yourself tested. Tested to see if you have an empathy deficiency disorder, i.e., are sociopathy positive. So even if you don't identify as SJW, global famine is your opportunity to engage in that transfer of privilege from the uber wealthy to the ultra impoverished. That's about to happen. That's kind of already in progress, right? But more about that later. Look, for years, probably even a lifetime, most of you have been unable to achieve your weight loss goals and attain the level of fitness that the leisure and influencer classes have set as the standard. Well, prepare for a hyperspeed leveling as those of you who can't afford a personal trainer, gym membership, or dietitian effortlessly are able to reach your target weight and levels of thinness you never even dreamed possible. Famine, food, insecurity, and scarcity are magnificent news for the time-starved, overworked underclasses, because 9 out of 10 doctors agree that starvation is the fastest, most guaranteed way to lose weight. Discipline and willpower and self-control become irrelevant when you are literally starving. If you're anxious that the government and relief agencies will spoil this perfect new weight loss opportunity, you know, like that jealous friend who always sabotages your diet with Ben & Jerry's and cheesecake, let's just lay those worries aside right now. No need to worry about your weight loss being sabotaged by the U.S. Congress. Your real worry should be how you're going to afford a whole new wardrobe once you drop down to size 0. Or where you're even going to buy clothes, since there will be another antietam in the retail industry. If you're worried about malnutrition, don't be. 2021 is the year that Big Tobacco seizes total control of the vaping industry and applies the menthol principle to vape, adding essential vitamins and minerals to vape liquid to gain social acceptance of their products and their marketing to teens. When vape contains more essential vitamins and minerals than a superfood salad, it will be hard not to realize that it is the much healthier alternative to calorie-saturated food. So, in 2021, you may find yourself in a Mother Hubbard situation. You know, all your cupboards are bare. But be sure to make sure you hoard at least a few years' supply of the new improved Vita Lifestyle vape liquid once it hits the market, which should be in the second quarter of the new year. Added bonus: since nicotine is a stimulant, your weight loss success is more than guaranteed when coupled with near starvation. All of this is certainly bad news for the fitness industries and wellness, specifically gym owners, personal trainers, and yogis. So if you're one of those careers now, this is an optimal time to plan your pivot. Based on other foreseen trends for 2021, there are some viable career suggestions that we can offer. Conspiracy theorist, militia leader, guns and ammo 3D printer, designer, technician, woodworking and shop teacher, chemistry and microbiology teacher, suicide counselor. As lockdowns end, we can expect a meteoric spike in activities motivated by a desire to make up for lost time, correct past mistakes, and actualize unfulfilled dreams. If you're ready to hustle, you can capitalize on new business opportunities that are going to present themselves. For example, an adrenaline adventure guide is a good career. Convertible repair, hair plug and wig maker, divorce lawyers, adoption agents, due to an increased birth rate amongst those who are not ready for parenting. Let's see. Here at CCN, we are proactive, solution-focused, and not just gloom and doom, problem-entrenched. Now that you've finally gotten a little good news, let's move on to the not necessarily bad news, but the wild and weird, the scandalous and the salacious news. Yes, of course, that's a segue into our political predictions. All right, where else to begin but with his holy Trumpness? No sarcasm intended. You'll understand in a sec. His holy Trumpness is going to continue to be the center of all news globally in 2021. Don't stress. His disproportionate share of the headlines this year will have nothing to do with an attempted coup, an assassination attempt, mass militia movements, or revelations of an affair with Kanye. You can breathe a sigh of relief. No. Instead, Trump has already resolved to give up golf and tweeting. Addictions his advisors believe prevented him from stealing the 2020 election. And he's going to give them up to focus on spirituality. After a DMT trip with Joe Rogan in early January, Trump will assume his true spiritual moniker of Trump Tiger and launch a new religious movement based on a belief in the existence and superiority of a specific alien race. After pardoning Joe Exotic and releasing all classified government information on extraterrestrials and UFOs, Trump Tiger will undergo a series of operations to restore him to his true alien form as he goes on to assume control of the Galactic Council. But that's just the beginning of his new ventures. Brace yourself. Applying his newly acquired spiritual wisdom, power, and control over the intergalactic resources, Trump will launch alternative platforms to both Twitter and Facebook that use mental telepathy to transfer messages and images, and ultimately to share consciousnesses, to bypass the censors. Also, expect Tesla and SpaceX stocks to nosedive this year as Trump Tiger launches his own rival companies based on technologies obtained from more advanced civilizations. Technologies that include urine-powered engines and spacecraft powered by antimatter reactors fueled by element 115. Knowledge acquired from the Celestials will also bankrupt Amazon due to the unlocking of psychokinetic and mind manifestation powers that are going to make 3D printers look like Snoopy snow cone machines. This is going to happen at the tail end of 2021, so you'll want to enjoy your skinny figure before the whole food scarcity thing is spoiled by these technologies. So there's a heads up. Our condolences go out to Bob Lazar, who will both feel vindicated but mostly cheated by Trump Tiger's new ventures. As for President Biden, well, it will come as no surprise when he comes out as transgender. Americans will rejoice when they learn they haven't elected some cis white fuddy-duddy. Biden's approval ratings will skyrocket as he lets his true colors shine through. Biden's love of playing with women's hair will make sense once he gets some luscious locks of his own. So you can look forward with anticipation as he becomes the first U.S. president to transition while in office. Biden's guest appearance on ContraPoints and his makeup tutorials going viral will be some of the highlights of this year. It's a lot to look forward to. Speaking of freedom, I did mention freedom, right? Americans and others globally are going to celebrate their freedom of religion this year in some unexpected ways. Sparked by the release of government X-Files and by the failure of religious leaders like Pat Robertson and Sid Roth to accurately predict the 2020 U.S. presidential election. We're going to see widespread religious disillusionment. Don't worry, you won't be left stranded in a spiritual vacuum when millions of Christians and law of attractionites begin to doubt the validity of the prosperity gospel and its new age analog, The Secret. After their multi-millionaire pastors and gurus offer only positive thoughts and prayers to their followers experiencing evictions and other financial crises, we're also going to experience a fifth great awakening. This wave of spiritual fervor will center around science and art, specifically chemistry and physics, not just pseudophysics, where people will turn for answers to life's big questions. So look for equations to replace mantras this year and for chemistry sets to replace crystal collections. Another trend to anticipate is the conversion of spare bathrooms and garages into chemistry labs and workshops as weird science and rugged self-reliance culture experience a revival. In the arts and entertainment and fashion, consider 2021 the year of the alien, as former nut jobs and wackos rise to fame and finally gain the audience and credibility they deserve. Not to be outdone by the president, we will be glued to social media as Kanye West becomes the first man to give birth. Other than this, the celebrity gossip world is going to be quite different than it has been in the past, since 2021 will be the year of defunding the nobility, who left most of their subjects hanging during the worst economic crisis in recent history. The circumstances of 2021 will also necessitate a sweeping suicide prevention movement, catalyzed by Kevin Spacey's Christmas Eve message and the third worst pandemic faced by Americans, third only to COVID-19 and opioids. While we will see a mass effort to release and offer restitution to those incarcerated for selling marijuana under the draconian laws of the last century, prisoners will also take center stage as the latest reality TV craze features suicide hotlines run by death row inmates, and also philosophical podcasts about life and death hosted by others on death row. While all aspects of our cultures are going to be touched by a heavy mood of nostalgia, the fashion industry in particular is going to be influenced by this longing for safer, more comforting times. So to get ahead of this trend, you best order your powdered wigs as soon as possible before they sell out. Yet you can also expect to see a divergent, competing fashion trend as many escape into fantasies and dreams of other worlds. Don't be surprised to find yourself immersed in a renewed fascination with space, a level of obsession not seen since the 60s. So in addition to fashions inspired by hazmat suits, you just might find yourself lounging around in spacesuit inspired leisure wear, including foil hats. Hot accessories this year will be freeze-dried food, jewelry, neck, arm, wrist, and ankle bands, as well as belts where you can keep your freeze-dried food. Relatedly, freeze-dried food is going to be a huge phenomenon, with demands for tutorials and home freeze-drying kits soaring. In the worlds of entertainment and social media, the hot phenom will be the Nerd Pack, a group of geeky science gals who make being brainy sexy again, if it ever was. Social deprivation and mentorship by more enlightened aliens spawns intense interest in friendship. Expect to see classes in friendship offered at colleges taught by kindergartners, of course. In fact, aside from virology, friendship becomes the most popular area of scientific study in 2021, and will have the honor of being, and 2021 will have the honor of being the year that the Institute of Friendship and the Journal of Friendship are founded. If there's anything you're going to feel peer pressured into doing, it will be taking a master class this year in friendship. Be prepared to study its correlates and variables, its inner workings, and expand your vocabulary for describing different types of friends and friendship experiences using more sophisticated, precise language. According to the Chinese zodiac, 2021 will be the year of the ox, but it seems it will also be the year of the dog. Trust in entertainers will fall to such abysmal levels after infiltration of social media by Russian and Iranian subversives and several celebrity scandals that make Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Cosby look like cherubs. To address a crisis of faith and feelings of being very poor judges of character, the public will demand that all new celebrities are vetted by a panel of dogs, since dogs seem to be much better at reading auras and detecting threats than humans. Why are you looking at me like that? You were expecting, hoping, I'd say something about the Rona. You want to know an exact day and time when it's gone and life goes back to normal. First, are you absolutely positive that you want things to go back to the way they were before? Are you sure you haven't just romanticized, nostalgized the pre-COVID days? Are you sure about that? I'll let you work through that on your own terms, but to answer your question, even the psychics unanimously agree that COVID-19 predictions are best left to the experts. And when the curve flattens, when that happens, depends entirely on you, boys and girls, and how well you follow directions. You know. Only go out in public if it's absolutely necessary and you have no other options. Wear a mask, socially distance, wash your hands like it's your damn job, and isolate yourself if you start feeling, like you could spread something. And be as patient and compassionate as possible towards those around you who have temporarily lost their minds after watching Plandemic or listening to Alex Jones or the like. COVID deniers are people too who do have legitimate concerns. And one last piece of advice. Just remember to be careful what you wish for and make optimal use of your extended vacation if you're on one. And also be sure to help anyone around you who has been hit harder than you by that no good, very bad year, whose name we shall not speak after the clock strikes midnight. Well, mucho, mucho amor. Here's to a less divisive, more enlightened, less heavy, and more enlivened new year. May the force be with you in 2021.